So this morning we are going to make a wine expert kit. This is a Selection International Australian Petit Verdot. It's a brand new kit from their lines. It comes with a hefty amount of grape skins. And we're going to dig into the rest here to explain what we're going to be doing. Labels, not something we're going to need right away. Probably about 6 weeks from now. Oak cubes. In most kits, these are going to go into a fermenter down the road, nothing that we're going to use today. We've got some toasted oak. These are probably chips and maybe a little bit of dust. That's going to give it all of the tannins it needs, in addition to the grape skins. A bag for everything. Yeast pack. Sorbate, won't need this right away. Sulfite, also won't need this right away. Bentonite, that's what we need right away. And some handy instructions and clarifying agent will go later. It's always good to take a glance over the instructions before you get going on a kit. Even though I've done, I can't even tell you how many kits, this one makes it very clear, do not add the oak cubes to the fermenter. Every now and then you run into it the other way around, so it's good to take a peek. And everything else is going to be pretty straightforward. So, just about any kit you ever do, before you get into any of this, you want to make sure that your equipment is well sanitized. Having rinsed that out thoroughly, we'll start out with some bentonite. Bentonite's clay. Now, it's been said this helps improve clarity. I would recommend never experimenting with that. It does absolutely improve clarity in the wine. Pretty simple stuff, just a nasty gray powder, which is going to become an even nastier gray sludge in a moment, as we add about a half a gallon of relatively warm water. This paddle has already been sulfited, so it's clean enough to use here. Just going to mix this up. That looks pretty good. These boxes have an interesting construction. The idea is that when put together properly, we can take this cap from the juice, open it up, and pour it through the box. Really handy when it works. And frankly, I think it works for an awful lot of people. I just tend to have trouble with it. We really don't want to lose any of this because it is concentrated. It will splash a bit though. I'm going to take this bag out just to make sure we've got everything out here. Pretty well. Since the yeast needs oxygen in order to get a good strong ferment going, this splashing around is actually a good thing. So don't worry about that. Now, we've got one bag with this kit. We've got some oak and we've got some grape skins. It's time to refer to the instructions and make sure we know what we're putting in where. Reminds us to sanitize that bag. That's a very good idea. The easiest way to sulfite everything down is to set up a spray bottle. However, I just broke mine, so we're going with the next easiest. And this bag has been sulfited. It's time to get the grape skins involved. Now what I'm seeing right now, and the instructions aren't real specific about this piece, but it's quite clear. We're going to still need to top this off with a little bit of water to bring it to 6 gallons. And there's a great deal of juice that's going to go right through this bag. So we're going to be rinsing the bowl out while we're topping off the bucket. Don't want to tie this off tightly because when it starts fermenting, there's a great deal of turbulence that's created by the yeast in this ferment. The process of fermentation actually creates some heat, and that'll create a convection current, which will help toss this bag around and really jostle the tannins out pretty well. But before we get that in there, open this up and show. This is made real fine so that way it's got lots of surface area, so in that kind of convective current that we get, it's going to get a lot of tannins right out of there, a lot of flavor, a lot of character. I'm just going to start dumping that right in. And we want so much of it in this kit, we've got 2 packs. This one is almost a dust. Once again, our sulfited stirring rod here. Get that in and really incorporate it. We've got about a gallon left to add here, and we're going to get a big piece of it in with this fluid. Put that down over here. I only did that because I added a little bit of water into there already, trying to get all those grape skins out. We want to be up to 6 gallons, which is the lowest rim. Perfect. Add that right in. And now, as we should be, we are just a smidge over the 6 gallons of volume because of the grape skins going in. So, next major step here is to get a hydrometer reading. This is really important if we want to know what kind of alcohol levels we've achieved, and also really important because Wine Expert is a great company, and they turn around and say, hey, if the kit just didn't look right for some reason, we want to know why. If you can't tell them, well, my gravity reading was off a little bit in the beginning, they can't troubleshoot. If something really goes wrong, they usually take care of everything for you. So it's crucial you get all of the records straight. You want to put a hydrometer in to get a reading. You want to give it a little twist. That's going to dislodge any air bubbles you might get, which would give you an off reading. And we are looking at a gravity of 1.1, which is spot on with what the kit was recommending. Just wherever it floats, that's the level you want. At this point, technically we should be gauging this directly and saying it's 72 to 75 degrees. The good enough school of thought is it is just barely cool to the touch. So it's a little under body temperature, which means we are in good shape. This kit comes with 2 packages of yeast. Most kits come with 1. Most kits come with the champagne yeast. Champagne yeast is a very, very potent fermenter. It wipes out a lot of competitive yeasts that could otherwise get in there. And so 1 pack is perfectly fine. In this particular kit, we've got Lalvin's RC212. Now, this is a fantastic yeast for red wines. I use this frequently for other projects as well. One thing about it is it tends to control acid production, so you end up with a very smooth wine out of it. But having 2 packages of yeast is a really great idea here. It really makes sure that this is going to have a strong ferment, and I guess in about 4 or 5 hours we're going to see some sign of that. So. Kits differ strongly on whether they want you to put the yeast right on top or they want you to stir it in. In actuality, it doesn't make much difference, not in all of the experience I've had making kits. If it changes the speed of ferment by 1 hour one way or another, I haven't noticed yet. Another thing is a lot of people talk about proofing the yeast. In this case, really isn't terribly necessary. It's enough yeast going in to take over. It's already getting fully hydrated, and I expect we are going to see activity much quicker than I had first predicted. All right. That's the basic setup. What we need to do at this point is just loosely cover it with a lid. Some people will put saran wrap down very loosely and loosely apply the lid. That enables you to take a peek after it starts fermenting without having to worry about, well, in my case, my hair falling in it or something like that. And that's it. That's a start of a wine kit.